All right. All right. I'm Jaws. Listen, how are you? You good? How's fucking May? It's gonna be May. He's there. JT, Justin Timberlake, is there in the castle saying, please just come out with it. It's gonna be May memes. Please take the eyes off what I did to Janet. What I did to Britney. Yeah? Cry me a river. Cry me a river. And then what they did to her. I haven't seen any of the documentaries. I'm pulling all this out of my arse. He seems like a nice guy. Played Vicar Street as well. So, you know. Did he play 3 nights? 4 nights, actually. Did he play 4 nights? Yeah, I know he did the Super Bowl, but we all know how that turned out. But has he done 4 nights in Vicar Street? Okay. Well, who's to say who's better? I know that if I was on Punk'd, I wouldn't be a little dweeb. Can you be careful with my belongings, please? Dax Shepard's there smashing up his guitar. Oh, Telly used to be good. Anyway, how are you? Are you good? I love you. I'm in love with you. Happy May to you and your family. A lot of bank holidays. Lot of bank holidays that I'm not aware of. That I don't have Sheila in the office telling me her plans. She's going to Splash World, right? Telling me she's going to Tato Park with the grandkids. I don't have people telling me that. So the first I hear of a bank holiday is when my wife tells me that it's a bank holiday. And all the shit I was putting off to do on that day, just up. It's sitting there in a little Aston Martin. Someone's after hitting the gear stick because that's going fucking a little James Bond reference. I don't know. Is that accurate, Pete? Peter McGann, if you're listening, is that accurate? Yeah, they all go out the window. And I tell you what every wife loves is getting excited about having a bank holiday and having having just a break from the graft of work. The kid's not in creche and you're excited about your plans, and then you tell your husband and his face fucking drops like it's a anchor still falling down the Marianas Trench. Right? That's what every wife loves, being like, not only is it, I feel like I'm breaking bad news to you that you have to hang out with your family. So look, I will be better with my calendar. She's not even here. I'm saying that like it's Terry's in the room. I will be better with the calendar, dear. Anyway, listen, Sean Burke's on the show today. Sean Burke's a very funny comedian. I think he's bloody brilliant. I've liked him for a long time. Well, as long as what's considered long. 6 years is like a fucking really long time for the internet, right? But I found his stuff on YouTube and I loved it. And then when Plune got good numbers, he then messaged me and was like, hey man, I really liked the video. And I immediately, it was all like, when can we meet up? I need to pick your brain, you know? This is when I was just so fucking young and hot. In terms of comedy world, you know, a young fit bod with a nice pink arsehole. That's how green I was, you know? And I was just hungry for any new information. This is a fucking crass, disgusting intro for people who want to hear an interview with Sean Burke. I'm very sorry about that if this is your first podcast of mine. I'm being a bit too dirty. I'm just excited to be talking to you. Anyway, Sean Burke is on the show. And I had a wonderful time talking to him. He's a very talented man. I've said it to him. I said it to his face that he's an example of where internet comedy has kind of gone now, which is great. There's kind of a democratization of sketch where you can kind of just put a towel on your head and pretend that you're an Irish mammy, you know? The green screen technology is built into the phone, you know, and all this stuff is there. He always goes the extra mile, and I'm always very impressed. He starts with the jokes. Are the jokes funny enough? Then he shoots the thing. He'll shoot it on location if it makes it better. He'll get actual costumes. He's a serious workhorse when it comes to this very thankless game that is Irish sketch comedy. But he's one of the best at it, and I was delighted to chat to him because he's also just a super cool dude. And we also just have a chat about Metal Gear Solid and Pro Evo, Pez, we used to call it, me and my brother. But before we get on to a terrific chat with a terrific chap, I would like to thank the sponsor of this week's podcast, the Dubliner Irish Whiskey. Look, you know I'm a fan of the Dubliner. I think they make a tasty-ass whiskey. I like their style. I think they're adventurous but playful. right? I like the fact that they take a tasty whiskey and then they're like, what can we do with it? Can we put it in a bourbon cask? Great. Now it's got a little taste of the Wild Wild West in it. Can we put it in a smoked stout cask? Great. Now it's got a little smokiness that you kind of get from when you put a cocktail in a bell jar and fill it full of smoke. They just do that because they put it in a cask. They're wild. And not only can you get the Dubliner on the DLD.com, but you can now get it in Dunn's, mate. Dun Stows, bro. Dune. Or as I heard these tourists in a lift one time, well, we should go to Dune Stores. There's 2 N's in it, love. Anyway, this is not an ad for Dunn's. I don't do those anymore. I used to do the voiceovers. But anyway, they've gone a different direction. Anyway, listen, doesn't matter. I would like to thank the sponsor of this week's podcast, the Dubliner Irish Whiskey. You can get them on the DLD.com, and you can also get them in Dunn's Stores, and they make a tasty-ass whiskey. Anyway, now a wonderful chat with, can I call him a friend? Sean Burke. Sean, I have to say that I'm very relieved to hear you, who I that we all have the same fears of looming irrelevancy. Mm-hmm. Even though you, I would actually say, have been the most relevant for the longest time, and only. You honestly, I feel like you outdo yourself every single time. And I know you were saying like, oh, I put one out and it hadn't been a while. I'm like, I feel like every time I open my phone, it's the mix of, first, of course, shit, why am I doing something? And then like, oh fuck, now he's really good. And then third, just pure enjoyment of the video and how good you are at what you do.
That's how I intend my stuff to be enjoyed, in that order as well. I want you to feel bad first and then bring you back around to laughter at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm absolutely the same. Like I just, yeah, like the relevance, that is the thing. That is the chain around the neck. It's like, because it's all off on our own back and on the internet, and like nobody's obliged to pay any attention to it.
No.
Well, if I've learned one thing, is that you really just have to you really just have to put the work in and know, oh, this might not necessarily pay off in the short term. Like, you've just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Like when I started out, like, which is literally like 10 years ago when I started making YouTube videos, I was so like cocky. Like, I'd make a video and then be like, right, I'm going to put my feet up for 3 months. I'm just going to enjoy, go out for pints, celebrate this semi-viral clip I made. But now it's like completely the opposite end of the scale. Yeah. I'm like, I put out a video and I'm like, what's next, man? What's next? The next day, I'm like, I need another hit. I'm fading from relevance.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you do deserve to put your feet up. I mean, the first video I saw of yours, you've been doing it a couple of years, but the first video was kind of letters from an Irish expat.
Oh, yeah.
And I just couldn't watch it enough, especially like just the line that I kept quoting and we kept doing was the, obviously this is the whole thing. It's a Shawshank kind of, it's Brooks's letter back to the prisoners in Shawshank, and your perspective is, you're back to the lads in Dublin. But the line where it's all like, whenever everyone calls me a fancy prick whenever I say something is grand, and then just the bow that you get at the bus stop, I just was crying laughing. I watched it so many times.
Well, I'm glad, man. You would have lived in London at the same time as well, would you?
Yeah, well, I remember because like when Plune Plune did numbers, you sent me a nice message saying, "Oh man, that was really great." And I think you literally sent that, and immediately I was like, "Okay, can we meet up? Can I pick your brain?" And then you were very courteous to actually go out for a pint with me, and I just kind of bombarded you with questions when it could have been like, you were probably like, hey, whatever, we're both Irish comedians, maybe we'll, hang out a little bit, whatever, just be the nice thing. And I was like, all right, so what do you do when, and what is exactly your work? Pretty much what this podcast is going to be again, pretty much.
Yeah, we'll just have a review basically of how you're doing. I remember that was really nice. But like, because I was sending that video around, and a few others as well, to everybody. Like, it was just one of those videos that was like just so kind of original and like relatable, or not even, I don't know what it was. It's just the perfect mix of things that it was like a repeat viewer. Like, I'd just be watching it on my own, and I was like, I have to send this lad a message. I think I saw you lived in England as well.
Yeah.
So it was great to meet up with you as well. And that was a time where it was kind of like you had blown up and your videos were doing really well, and I was like stagnating at that time. So I was like, well, that's the way I felt anyway in my head.
While you're like having your own show and chatting to The Rock and Kevin Hart. I think that was pretty much at the same time.
Yeah, all right, fair enough when you put it like that. But like, we did the funny thing with that, and I'd say a lot of people don't even know about that show now, but we did like 3 episodes of it. We were commissioned to make like 6. We never even finished it. Has anybody ever been commissioned to make something and then not even finished it? Like,
well, that's a very foreign concept here in Ireland, where it's like make it all, prove it's good, and maybe we'll pay for it.
Yeah. No, we didn't even. I was like, and when that came in, I was like, I was still living in. That's basically kind of gave me the kick up the arse to move to England, because it was a Channel 4 online series. And I was still living in Ireland, and like the producer somehow found my YouTube channel and thought I would be suitable for that. I'm glad they did. But I was like, this is it. When this comes out, doors will be open to Hollywood. Here I come. And that wasn't really the case. We did like some of the videos like did well. Like The Rock tweeted one of them. That was pretty mad. But then just like nothing happened. And I was like, maybe you just have to keep making stuff.
But I remember you did make The Rock and Kevin Hart laugh, and they seem to have a really good time. And, you know, you sometimes see that interview where like, they're kind of like, they're doing this as kind of, you know, the one, you know, they do a lot of those kind of things, you know, they do a lot of those junkets and stuff like that. But it was like halfway into it, they kind of like, their eyes just kind of like lit up, and they were like, okay, I'm into this. That must have been a buzz.
It was. I mean, I've never been more nervous in my entire life. Oh my God.
Yeah, and you're stone faced, man. You're so fucking good at that shit.
One thing I've learned though is just, and you know yourself, you just have to commit to the bit.
Yeah.
Like no matter how nervous you are, just don't show it for 1 second. And I was like, I'm not going to do all this prep for this and then just blow it because of nerves. And like, I took my t-shirt off for them as well, and was like, "Oh, what'd you think of my muscles?" or something along those lines, which got their attention, as you can imagine. And like the whole gist of the show was that I'm not a journalist. That the idea was that I was an aspiring actor who'd blagged his way in to these interviews and was trying to further his own career. So I was just acting like a lunatic. So at least it was different for them. They probably had the same questions from about 40 different journalists all morning. And then they saw my nipples, you know, so that really.
Well, really it wasn't at their expense, which was great. Like, it was very like, which I'm sure they might get sick of someone going in there doing some shitty improv, and they're kind of like, you know, everyone trying to do a fucking Between Two Ferns when they're not Zach Galifianakis. No,
oh God, I'm just having to put on a brave face and smile and nod. That's you want me to do this? Okay, great. Yeah, so I was happy to make it as easy as possible for them, and yeah, it went very well. I was really happy with it.
No, it was great. It was a great video. I wanted to chat a bit about because I found doing comedy in London quite hard, but I mean, obviously, there's so many places to do it. How did you find how when you obviously you're stand up, you were stand up before doing the videos, weren't you?
Yeah, well, No, actually, I made videos before I did stand-up. Like when I first started out, I just did videos of like impressions, and then eventually gained the confidence to start doing stand-up. But I started that in Dublin. I did I got fairly familiar with nights there, and then moved to London and started doing it there. And yeah, you're totally right. Like there's so much more choice. Like you could do. I have a friend who did 4 stand-up nights, 4 stand-up gigs in one night, like a few weeks ago.
Wow.
Like, that actually sounds like hell to me. Like he must absolutely love it. But the thing is, there's enough going on here, where you can totally do that. And it was great I got a lot better at stand-up comedy in London as well, because like you say, I was able to book it like at least once a week. You know, you meet loads of people, you see loads of people. And I think that's where I really, just improved as a stand-up comedian. But I know what you mean. Like at first it was kind of like, that was a good gig. That was a bad gig. That was a good gig. That was the worst gig I've ever had in my life. I did a gig in the reception of a theatre in a shopping centre in London before. So the guy was like, yeah, it's in the theatre. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I remember this guy, it was a place called the comedy night's called Comedy Virgins, which I
remembered. I did that in the Cavendish Arms, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, in Stockwell. Yeah. So I did that. And then gig didn't particularly go very well anyway, but I went out, and then there was this kind of like shady looking guy who was drinking a glass mug of tea in a pub, which I'd never seen before.
Weird.
And
so weird.
Yeah, so naturally I was like, oh, this guy's going to make my comedy career. So he sidles up to me and is like, oh, I'm putting on a comedy night and I'd like, if you're up for performing. And at that stage, I was just desperate to do gigs. So I said, yeah, why not? I think you recruited a couple of other people there. And it was in Hounslow, which is like miles away on the Piccadilly line, nearly in Heathrow.
Yeah.
In a shopping centre there. And oh my God, it's without a doubt the worst gig I've ever done. There was like, I cannot describe how miscellaneous this crowd was. The people, it was
what
like
a word.
A Guess Who audience.
Yeah.
Like there was a guy, like, and these people have never been in the same room together. And also,
Was the lad with the bald head and the big fucking orange beard there?
yeah, he was front row.
Yeah,
and he was a man. And there was a guy on his phone halfway through the gig. There's literally like 8 people there. It's also like still quite early in the day. It was like 6 p.m. for some reason. I had literally no idea what this event was, and I cannot express this enough. I got just dead silence and bemusement in my very short set that I did, and and I'm glad to say everybody else. I think one person did. They got a joke, and it was just for some like a joke about having a shit or something basic like that. That's what they like in Hounslow, which I learned from that day.
They like that. Well, I remember Alison Spittle was saying that like when you see kind of like early comedians, you can almost play like early, open mic bingo. It's all like a joke about doing a big shit, cross, wanking, another one, periods.
It's so true, because like at first you're like, because you're still getting a reaction. It's not necessarily a laugh, but it's still a noise from the audience.
Yeah.
But eventually, you kind of move on to a less like bodily fluid themed stuff. At least I hoped it wouldn't.
I'm not there. I still like, I'm looking at like, you have your set list on your hand and I'm like shit, piss, poo,
You got to hit all the pillars.
But that Cavendish Arms, man, that was such like a Lynchian room. Like obviously the floor, like had those tiles, but then the detail of the dude just drinking, that is also like so Lynchian. He's just drinking this like glass mug of tea. I'm putting a team together.
Yeah, I know. It was completely bizarre. Never seen him before. But it was nice to see. It was nice to hit rock bottom. To find out where it was comedy wise and be like, right, you can't get worse than that.
But that's the thing. I think yes, you do have to say yes to everything, but then you also have to realize, now that sounds shite. That sounds like there are factors outside of my control that will be bad, that will hurt my confidence, and I will probably take it personally. I remember my friend Magnus, who was this cool East London chef, tattoo artist. He was, he was always like hustling. He was always getting these gigs, and he was chatting to this dude who was putting on a dog show. And he was doing catering at it, and he was like, "Oh mate, you should get a comedian. I've got a comedian friend. You just tried to get me in. You should get someone to run around and like chat to people at the dog show." Right? Oh my God. And so he said this to me, and I was like, "Oh man, this is great. This is going to be like Russell Brand, like fucking Big Brother, Big Brother's Big Mouth, or those kind of like talking head things that you would do in the clubs and stuff like that." Go to this car park in Hackney, and there's like the only people who are there are the people selling things for their dogs. Like no one came. So I'm going around to all these owners of these dogs. But before the gig, I met the guy who was running the gig. And he had these two pit bulls, right? And there was one kind of running around the car park, and there was another one kind of like chained to like a bollard. And I saw the other one run around. I've got no experience with dogs, so I wanted the guy to see that I was kind of like maybe good with dogs or something like that, because I thought, oh, maybe he'll book me for something else. So I went over to the other dog that was chained to this bollard. I was like, "How are you doing, girl? Why are you chained?" Like, this thing attacked me, like grabbed my arms, bit me.
Oh my God.
But when you're kind of like too shy to, like, your man didn't see this who had put on the gig, but I was too shy to say it, and so I just kind of came back from behind the bollard, almost like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, like kicked the shit out of. I had scrapes all over my arms, and he's like, "You all right?" He's like, yeah. And like I was too shy to say, "Your dog kicked the living shit out of me," but I had all these like scrapes on my arms, so I'm walking around being like, "Hey, and how are you doing with your Bichon Frise?"
Oh my God.
But man. There's no audience. There's no audience. It's during the day. There was a lot of factors at play why that wouldn't be a good gig.
Yeah, I know, because there's no. It's mad. I just hear these stories constantly from other comedians who are like, "Yeah, I was booked for insert inappropriate occasion for a stand-up comedian." It's like, of course that didn't work, and that must have been awful.
Do you have any kind of like a bad first? Because like I feel like when I was trying to do comedy and I was trying to be like, oh, I'm Irish, how do I make that stand out? And then I used to make jokes about how, not even a joke, just a kind of nervous offhand, being like, I'm in the IRA, and just be like not really follow it through with anything, but feeling like I needed something to like. Did you have any of those kind of like Irish jokes that you do to try and just win the people over?
I can't. I don't know if I don't think I did. Like, I don't know if I had much Irish stuff in that way. I'm trying to think. I had like the stuff we were talking about earlier about the wanking and stuff. That was more my forte, really, when I started out to try and ingratiate myself with people. But I don't know if I mentioned, but I definitely talk a lot about being Irish. 100%, and like the differences between Irish and English people.
No, but it is a weird one where you're trying to, as you said, get that reaction, and then you go off stage and you're kind of like, well, I don't really talk to anyone else like that, and I don't really normally talk like that, and I don't actually really like that guy who was just on stage, I know, yeah. But you're like, love me, but this is not me,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you have to. It will eventually. You just get tired of doing stuff that's not like genuine to you, that doesn't. And it's the same in the videos for me. But like in the stand-up as well, and you have to keep yourself interested in saying it. And the best stuff I always found came from like a genuine annoyance or observation you had about life. But yeah, and I used to go on stage like to G myself up. I used to like, I was looking up like power poses and stuff, like to try get in like the right mindset.
Hand on hips?
Yeah, so like hand on hips, standing like that at the back of the room, like hand on hips, and then I would run up, like they'd introduce me, and I'd run up and I'd have my hands in the air.
That's great.
Like, but sure, yeah, that probably is a good power pose, but I'm just not the right person to use them. I'm like, this doesn't reflect me at all.
Yeah.
And what I've learned now is nowadays when I do stand up, I'm the complete opposite. I very slowly walk up on stage, take my time, and looking back at footage, like I barely move from the same spot as well when I'm talking. I am relatively low energy, and I've come to accept that. But I think I'm better for it.
Yeah, I mean, I still have those bad habits that you try and slap out of yourself first. Like if you feel like the energy is dipping, volume is not always the thing to fix it. You think like, well, you didn't laugh at this. Will you laugh at it louder if I say the next joke? I'm always trying to kind of fill that space. Can I ask you about your sketches? I mean, I'd mentioned I mean, this is about 6-7 years ago you did the expat one, but I remember what I just was pure delighted by was I feel like a reference, like I mean, people might know the Brooks part. It might not be the most iconic thing from Shawshank, but it's that to a T. But also just you're not just dining out on the reference. Like you're not Family Guy in it. You're not just being like, oh, I get that, and then it's so kind of dense with jokes. I mean, does it take you a long time to fill something out like that, like the Brooks expat video?
Yeah, I mean, it varies from like video to video, but that one was nice because it was like it's a parody basically, which is a lot of my stuff is just parodies, but it's always comes from like an inspiration. I love just watching movie scenes like standalone on YouTube. Like I'm a big like movie guy. I love going to the cinema. I love watching movies, and I would, in the past, when I was just procrastinating, I would just watch like movie scenes over and over again. Shawshank Redemption as well. I feel like, I don't know if I must have seen that film about 50 times growing up.
Yeah, it kind of has its own, it's kind of like, it's probably 50% of UTV. Is the Shawshank just being on?
Yeah, there was that, and there was Terminator 2 as well. I've also seen that about 50 times. But that one, because I'd say I wrote that in like a couple of days. Basically, the challenge with that one is just I have the tone and I have the music for it as well. That was really helpful for that one, that song. Like it sets the scene so perfectly. Even if you don't know the scene I'm parodying, it just matches it. Yeah. And then it was just finding a matter of finding the different topics to parody and talk about mournfully in some way. So then it was just a matter of like analyzing my day-to-day life. What was I doing? Like, I think, what was it, like getting a tube, like, the way we talk, like having no money and eating paper. So that was slightly exaggerated. And as well, the ending, like the letters written to just the lads in Ireland, like it's no more specific than that. But at the moment, On Post was going viral constantly for delivering letters that were like to Tony in Dublin.
Yeah,
It's like somehow ended up in your place. But to be honest, most of the time, once I have the crux of the idea, like what is the gist of it? Like the idea there is just like it's me writing a sad letter home instead of an old man writing to his old prison friends. Then it's like a day maybe to write it, maybe a couple of days. Then like, yeah, so writing wise, that's probably the most enjoyable part, I'd say. But then
I was going to ask that, because I mean, obviously there's so much that goes into it. There's the original inspiration, there's the writing of it, there's the edit and stuff. Literally just the writing is your most is the most enjoyable process for you?
I think so, because like the filming always requires, well, you never know. Like you might have a really funny idea that might be really hard to do and might require loads of props. You might have a limited time to make it. So that can be quite stressful depending on the video, especially if you're filming in public as well. And like, because I'm not an extroverted person, but I've learned to be extroverted against my will, just in the pursuit of making comedy things. And you know, when opportunities come up that are like, outdoors or whatever. So that can go either way. I remember Peter McGann sent me a video of, Jonathan Pye, who does his kind of like to camera bits, and he's all like, takes his earpiece out and shouts at the screen. He sent me this footage of someone recording him do one of them in the wild, Was it him on?
Just like him in the park being like, no, mate, taking the earpiece. Yeah, but I know Boris doesn't. And you can just see him like a mile away and you can kind of hear him shouting. He's in like, London Fields or something like that. And it's just like, oh man, like I know the end is good and everything, it's well done. But just the feeling of being seen doing that, like I don't even like anyone being in the house, when I'm doing a video.
I'm totally the same. Like, and I ideally, I'd film in an empty house too, because you're just doing such ridiculous stuff, at least for like just short bursts of it, but out of context, you just look and sound like a crazy person. But you just have to think of the end goal. I've learned to just kind of shut off my emotions very briefly while I film something in public. Well, especially for like a parody sketch or something, if you can go to a location, I always find it just does add something extra. It just looks a bit more professional, a bit better. So oftentimes, like it's worth it. But and then the editing. Well, that's just me at my desk, so that's it's mostly all right. But sometimes it can, like, if I've done sketches, I retweeted a sketch I'd done before yesterday that was like people announcing they're leaving Twitter, where it's like somebody bursting into a room making a heartfelt. But like everybody's too busy arguing, they don't even hear what they're saying. Which is so true. Like when people are like, just gonna take a break, guys, for a week. If you'd not said anything and come back a week later, no one would have noticed. It's absolutely fine. But I remember putting that together and nearly having a nervous breakdown because there was like 7 different characters and they're all talking over each other. I literally just stopped for an hour and just stared at it. I was like, I can't do this. It was my first experience with like an editing timeline that was just like chock-a-block with different like clips.
I always feel with your videos, like I'm always looking at it like, he fucking, like I'm always like, he really did it. Like he really, like whenever there's a decision that I would notice being like, oh, like he really went out there and like got a wig, or he really went out there and made the lighting look perfect. I always feel like there's probably, you're sitting there thinking, will I? I know I will, and then you do it. And every part of like this video your videos just always have that kind of little touch where you're always just like, no, I will just put in the extra effort. Were you any good in actual jobs?
No.
Great.
Which is no, it's so funny, and I'm really glad you said that, like, because that's the kind of thing that I get excited about. And when I'm making it, I'm like, no, just go the extra mile, like do it exactly as you picture it in your head. And like put in the things that you would appreciate as a viewer if you noticed, in a video. And like the best example of that, I think, is the Bob Ross parody I made in last year. And I'd had that idea for like a year and a half. But this is like I was saying earlier, I knew that making that would be an absolute pain in the hole, because I'd have to get loads of like art props and like genuine stuff. And I'm not like artistically talented like that. So, and that was, oh my God. And so like I got the outfit, got the black backdrop for that, made all these, I did like a Bob Ross style or Picasso style Bob Ross self-portrait. Actually, my girlfriend did that. She did the outline. She's a graphic designer. She's really good at that. And then she let me color in between.
Did she give you the numbers and everything?
Oh, thanks. We made this together, right? Yeah. Well done, Sean. Yeah. But I knew it, and when I watched it back, I was like, brilliant. That's exactly how I
pure
pictured
magic,
it,
though. Every cut, it's just so pure magic. Like, and I think that and your Dick Cavett one were kind of in quick succession, and that also was just these quick cuts, like you and that microphone going over and hitting the fucking nose. It's just pure magic, like, and it's just that extra effort. It really rings true.
I know. Yeah. No, thanks, man. I'm glad, because it's just, when you have the idea, like I know exactly how I want this to be a lot of the time. So then it's just a matter of doing that. I always do like loads of takes and then end up using the first one. Anyways, it's like that. I just knew how I wanted it. And you're right though. Like, I wish I could have applied that resolve to any actual jobs I've ever had. I've the kiss of death when it comes to retail. I worked in a hardware store from like 15 to like 19.
Yeah, in Swords.
In Swords, yeah. It's called Galvin's Hardware. It's no longer in business, I think. I think I started there like right as the recession hit.
Right.
And I did like one day a week. Still couldn't put up a shelf. Like literally. I would mainly just like fill bags of gravel and fill bags of nails. So it was pretty glamorous. And then I worked in Curry's PC World for a year. And I was without a doubt the worst salesperson I've ever employed. I just don't have the gift of the gab to like charm people like that. And
just to go up to people being like, they're having a browse, and then they leave.
Yeah. I just did not have the ability to convince anybody to do anything. I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. No, nothing extra. That's fine. I could sell a printer really well, but only printers.
Yeah. Well, printers kind of elusive. If you told me it was 30 quid, I'd be like, okay. And then if you said it was like 600 quid, I'd be like, okay. Like I think for the exact same thing of like, I know nothing, I guess I got to spend 600 quid.
Yeah. Does this mean it will last longer than a year? I guess.
God, no. And here's your CD to install the software. What?
Yeah. So not very good. One story as well. I met a lot of really good friends working in Curry's as well. And my friend Connor, he was actually competent and good at his job. I remember somebody was like looking lost over in the printer section, and he came over to help. He's like, "Oh, can I help you with anything?" And they're like, "Oh, no, Sean's helping me. He's just gone off to do something for a second." And he said at that moment, behind them, I was putting on my jacket, walking out the front door of the shop, going to which I have no recollection of doing. And it wasn't intentional, but it makes
in those last 5 minutes though, before you finish work, like you could say anything. They'd be like, yeah. And you're like, this is ringing in your ears because you're about to finish.
Just want to go, man.
Yeah. But like I always look at your video, like 'cause, with TikTokers and stuff like that a lot of the time, and that's what's great about TikTok is it is the kind of democratization of sketch in a weird way. I mean, it's also the outright stealing of all ideas.
Yes, 100%.
I think every time I see a sketch that I laugh out loud at on TikTok, I then look into the sound and then realize that it's been pulled from something else completely, which I don't fully understand. And I think that's why maybe it won't be. That's why there are TikTok stars, but there aren't as many as you think there should be, because a lot of people are just kind of doing similar stuff to other people. So the actual individual creative voice are actually quite fewer than you'd think. But
exactly.
TikTokers just they won't put a wig on; they'll put a towel on their head and pretend to be a mom. And I do actually love that as well, but I think that's also my kind of like, I'll just fucking put a towel on my fucking head, Will I change my glasses? No, they're upstairs. I'll just look that way,
But the thing is, though, I have also learned like that's absolutely fine, and as long as you're funny, which I kind of do love about like TikTok and the internet is that it doesn't matter what camera you have as long as it's funny. People won't care. Yeah. So at the end of the day, the idea is the main thing. And I have made a few videos that are just like me on my phone as well. Like sometimes you can just like freeform it or whatever, and they've done well. But yeah, if I had the option like every time of like doing it like exactly how I pictured it, I'd probably go for that. But loads of times, I've stuck a towel on my head or whatever is the equivalent. It's just just be funny. It's the main thing.
You have a gig. This is going to because it is a plug, but I don't mean to be acting like we're rounding out the show here. But you have a gig coming up then, don't you? In the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's on the 19th of May. in Museum of Comedy, which is where they keep all the old comedy. So it's in there, and it's a double bill. So it's like a work in progress, basically. Eleanor is doing 30 minutes, and she's doing the Edinburgh Fringe this year, I'm pretty sure. And I'm doing 30 minutes, I guess, just for the crack. I mean, I need to, like, I've wanted to start doing like live material in some form or other for ages now, and I just said, like, I need to give myself a kick up the arse, and I knew Eleanor was working on new stuff, so I thought, why don't we do a show together? Because her, Michael Fry, and myself have gotten into the habit of making like sketches together on Twitter from time to time, and that seems like a nice relationship. I think we have like similar comedy sense of humor. So yeah, that should be interesting. I'm excited and nervous at the same time. Like, most of my experience is with like just doing spots at stand-up nights where, you know, it could be more of like a club vibe, you know, you don't know what you're getting in for. I'm kind of excited for this though, because I feel like I'll have a bit more a room to kind of explore like what my actual live comedy is. Yeah. Whereas like in the past, I'd be doing just like as many quick jokes in 5 minutes as you can do. Yeah, you know? I still don't have. I'm still so terrified of just doing a sketch on as a like doing like a solo sketch or like a, you know, or even a two-hander, and I don't know why, because a lot of the time that's where you feel it you're safest. But you know, you go do these kind of these spots, and you're like, okay, how do I make it look as close to the other people's comedy that are here, but through the prism of me. And then you come out with the wanking bingo kind of scoreboard, you know. Have you done sketches? You do kind of live sketches or pieces? No, I'm the same. Like with my stand-up, it is very much just like, you know, standard, like stand-up. How do I describe my style? It's just stand-up comedy, basically, but I wouldn't do sketches. But I am... And I think the reason for that as well is like once you commit to a sketch as well, like if it doesn't work, you probably have to see it through to the end still. Yeah. So that's probably why I haven't done it either. But with this, the live stuff, I am hoping to do a few like impressions in it, maybe a couple of characters. I did that Brian Cox video at the end of last year, and I just love impersonating him so much. So I feel like I just love his style of delivery as well. I think I can come up with a load of like incorrect space facts or something like that. And I think that would be nice just to mix it up a bit, because the idea of just doing one guy in a microphone you know, for 30 minutes straight, I'd like to mix it up a bit. And I think I might introduce some sort of like visual comedy, whether it's like a PowerPoint presentation. It sounds so dull when I say it like that.
Oh, but it's great
synergy.
No, but it's I feel like I feel like attention spans have... They've certainly not moved on from stand-up comedy, but they can certainly tolerate a lot more in what's considered entertainment, you know? And I mean, I think I try and just change it up as much as I can, just because I'm like, if you even if you didn't think it was good, you'd be like, well, look, he did loads, you know? He put it all out there. And that's all, you know, get that kind of Louis Walsh X factor. Look, you had fun. You went out there. You shook your tuchus and you had a good time, you know.
It's funny. I was talking to Justine Stafford about stand-up comedy there, and bringing people who you know along, and like the stuff they say like after a bad gig. And I don't know. She said to me the worst one she had was like she did a stand-up set and she came off and the person said, "Oh, that was you up there." It's like they couldn't even say, "Oh, that was at the very least you on stage."
There was a microphone up there.
I'll tell you one thing: you were present.
I remember I bombed. It was like Dresden. It was awful at the Laughter Lounge on the Quays. And I brought and I kind of knew I was going to bomb. I bombed 2 nights in a row, and then I was going up to my third night. And for whatever reason, someone had told me, no, you never do new material. And I just only had the material that I had. And it was like 20 minutes. And so I just didn't do any new material, even though I should have. I should just go with my gut on the third day. But I invited friends. They were coming anyway. And then they saw me, and I bombed again. And then my friend was all like, do you know what I think it was? Microphone was too loud. I'm like, yeah, I think it was too loud for everyone else all the time for the last 3 days.
It's a funny thing, like bombing like that. It is literally many people's worst nightmares. And like doing stand-up comedy full stop is. I remember the first time it happened to me ever. I think it was like my 4th ever stand-up gig. And it was in the International. It was in the Comedy Cellar. And it was like somebody had dropped out and the MC asked me if I could do it. And I was like, yeah. And I had done 2 or 3 gigs and they'd gone well, which I feel like is a story that so many comedians say they have a really good first gig and so full of confidence, and then they get smacked in the face with reality. And I did it. And there's no microphone there, or at least there wasn't at the time. And it's this small room. And I just remember it. Like it started off okay, but then just like by the end, it was just dead rubber. And I just like walked off. I remember literally like reeling in the hallway, just like leaning against the wall. We were like zoning out like that. I can't believe that actually happened. It took like a week to recover as well. Like it's like the opposite of, you know, the buzz after your first gig where you're like, I could do anything. I could eat mountains. And now after this, I was like bedridden for a week. Oh my God. But then it just levels out, doesn't it? Like, and where it's like, it's all good.
The first one's like a bungee jump. Like you will jump, but then you'll bounce and then they will pull you back up. You will end up alive and in the same place that you started. And if that's your goal, that's perfect. So it's just pure survival. And then after that, you know, you think, I know everything there is to know about stand-up. I'm going to change. You know that? The 5 minutes, that's dead. That doesn't need to be perfected whatsoever. That's done 5 minutes. I'm going to come up with something completely brand new. In fact, I'm going to go even more ambitious. And then you just, I remember I played the place in Liverpool Street, which was Dead Comedian Socks. It was a Touching Cloth. That was like an open mic night.
I think I've heard of that.
And they recorded it. And I just bombed, and it was like my second gig, and I was like, delete that video. and I love that video now. But no, it is. But do you know what's weird as well? Like it is never as bad, even though it can go bad. It is never as bad as sometimes you can catastrophize it, because I was even thinking, just even recently, just for whatever reason, it was a month between doing the Vicar Street gigs and then doing the Spirit Store in Dundalk there over the weekend. But I was nervous because I hadn't done stand-up even just in a few weeks. And I was literally in my head thinking, what if I forget how to talk? Like, what if, like you actually imagine in your head sometimes something that has never happened ever in the history of like, you would literally, your brain just shuts down and all of a sudden you have a nosebleed, you know. But like it doesn't work that way. You will figure out how to keep the ball flowing, especially if you're Irish. I feel like if you just get the chat going, it's like, well, I know how to kind of keep general kind of rapport going here. You know, we're like fencers, you know, we get in, get out, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, the things I've catastrophized about, like it's I wish I was always that creative, you know. Like my worst fantasies are some really good stuff. I need to start writing these down. But yeah, you're right. And it's always like, once you get up there, and especially after like the first joke, then you're just like, oh yeah, I actually enjoy this. Yeah. And I'm like, why was I so miserable in the lead up, you know?
And you forget that, oh, I actually wrote this, so I remember how it goes. That's like, it's like, you just have to follow the grooves in your brain that got you to that original idea in the first place, which is actually quite simple. We are going to talk a bit about something that you were mad into growing up, but I often do like to ask guests on this show, because I kind of went from being like a rocker to a goth to a emo to then a new raver to then kind of an indie boy kind of vibe. Now I don't know. Preppy, looking at this shirt.
Your final form.
My final form. Preppy dad. Did you have any kind of subcultures that you were kind of into growing up, or anything like that?
In my teens, like my group of friends was very much the checkered Vans shoes. I guess we would have been called emos, really. Sure. By people who didn't know us very well.
That's still quite in the know for people. Normally it's just like checkered Vans. Hippie as well. You know? Everyone's a hippie.
Why not? Lump us all together. But that was like my subculture. I never really committed to like the look of it. I still wear like Converse and Vans like religiously though. I mean, half out of like I like them, but also I'm just so not adventurous in my outfits whatsoever. So I'll just go, same again, please.
I hope you're rocking insoles now, Sean, for your back.
No? Should I?
Oh, the cons and the Vans. Oh, can be very bad for your back in the long run.
That makes a lot of sense because I have a terrible back for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Now to mention it.
Give you some good lumbar support. It'll give you a nice arch in your foot. And then, you can just throw them in all the shoes.
Oh, God. Genuinely, this has been a revelation for me.
Good.
I've invested in a good office chair this year. Good shoes is the next step.
Yeah, that'll be the next one. Yeah.
It is like, and they're always wearing out really quickly. It's like a flap of cardboard. Like,
afterwards.
Like, there is not much there.
Some of the shoes that you wear, like, and literally, like, just stepping next to a puddle, it's just like, tongue just eating all that up.
Yeah. My friend Dave has this photo of me from when I was like early 20s. And I had this ragged pair of white slip-on Vans. Now I wore them in my house as slippers, but literally my toes were like sticking out the top of it. And he just occasionally sends it into the WhatsApp group. Like, remember this, Sean? Yeah. You disgust me.
I'm Kurt Cobain, okay? Kinda.
He wore Vans with holes in the top. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
But yeah, I suppose that would have been my subculture. Before that, like I did like kind of I do have a soft spot for like kind of early 2000s like disco. I say disco, not like disco music, but like kind of like Alice DJ, that kind of like teeny disco type vibe. I did quite enjoy that.
Did you have a cool mate that got you into that?
I think it was probably my older brother Vin, who was always like into that. He'd had like the big old speaker, and like every time it was a free gaff, he'd just like what is going on? And he'd be like blaring it out the window like for the neighbors. But probably from him. And then after that, though, graduated to like indie kind of rock. Arctic Monkeys was kind of a big turning point for me. That first album, I think it was probably the first album I had that I listened to back to front, just over and over again.
No, it was one of those. That was just the thing. There was like every band was making a splash then. Arctic Monkeys, I mean, Strokes might have been about 3 years before, but like there was always just a big band being, oh, now this is what we're doing. Sorry guys, we're not doing that anymore. Now we're doing this. Just absolutely revolutionary. A couple of years.
And just completely change everything, and then everybody imitates them. Yeah.
And it would have been as well a time, Sean, that you would have been playing a good bit of PlayStation 2, I imagine. Nice little segue into this topic we're going to be talking about. Well, I don't know, a little casual, a little bit. We'll talk. No, we don't get too dense into it. But I asked what you were mad into growing up, and you said Metal Gear Solid and Pro Evo. So big PS2 generations. Would you been playing with Vin quite a lot? Was that?
Yeah, he was a lot better than me, and I used to like, I'd be so frustrated, and he was much bigger physically than me as well, so I couldn't even retaliate in any other way. But he would wipe the floor with me, and I was pretty good at it as well. Like Pro Evo, I should have been. I played it like relentlessly, like day after day.
What was your main? I mean, I think 3 was the one that I played the most, and that's the orange one with the ref on it, the baldy lad.
Yeah, which I was just thinking, that's a bold move for a football game to have a ref be one of the cover stars. They were really pushing boundaries there.
Very striking man, though.
Yeah, it was Kalina, wasn't it? Him, I remember him. I think it was that one or the one after. That's where
that was
I started
Henri.
playing.
It was maybe 2004.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I feel like it was. Yeah, I used to play with my brother as well, and he would just, he would kick the shit out of me anyway. You know, I always had this kind of romantic notion that I would be Ireland and he could be Brazil, even though he was far better than me. But I'm like, no, this will be... Always just thinking I'll be the underdog, and I want to be the underdog, and I want to get that one goal or whatever. But then he would also play, and he would make up these footballers, because I had a pretty good, creative footballer kind of suite that you could kind of make footballers, and you could set all the stats. So he had this guy, which you call Tudor Iranovsky. And he put him on Liverpool, 99 everything. And at the time, I think I supported Aston Villa. I would, again, trying to be an underdog. And I would play Aston Villa versus Liverpool. And then in comes fucking Tudor or Iranovsky from the halfway line. Just fucking flying in like a rocket. And then I'm like, this isn't even fair. Like, you're making up, lads. You're already too good. Yeah, you could make them be like 2 meters tall, and like bald, 2 meters tall, and like balance was the one as well. If they had 99 balance, they were unstoppable. It was like the Juggernaut from X-Men running up the middle of it. Yeah, and like for headers, like just a sea of these bald alien freaks. Like, this is bollocks. It's so not fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I dabbled in creating a few players. They all had ridiculous names like Laser. It wasn't like persons' names. It was just like hard stuff. Blade.
You'd make up teams, which it would never be like, West Bromwich or any kind of Englishy name, or even, I don't know, Westmeath FC or whatever like that. It'd be like, the X-Men or, the Dublin Falcons. Yeah. Who was your team? Hang on, let me guess. Because of, actually, I don't know if they had I don't know what their equivalent. It wasn't London FC.
Who was my football
Was it
team?
London? Was it London Red? Were they called London Red? Because you're an Arsenal.
North London Red.
North London Red. Yeah,
that was it. Oh, very well remembered. Did I tell? Yeah, I am an Arsenal fan. Yeah, and they were my guys.
Yeah.
There's North London Red. The non-copyright infringement names are absolutely hilarious. I was looking up a list like before we started, like Stoke or like the Potteries, and like there's I think United were like Red Brick Trafford.
Do you know what?
Brick Trafford or something.
I wrote down a list of some of the best here, right?
Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, actually, can you remember what the original name for Man United were? Then they became something else. Do you know what Man United were also called?
Is it like something mad, like Aragorn?
Yeah, it is Aragorn. Aragorn, like Aragorn.
What?
Yeah.
There's no basis
with their iconic Trad Brick Stadium.
That was it.
Yeah.
Trad Brick Stadium.
All right, see if you can remember any of these other ones. All right, who were all right, the Potteries you said were Stoke City. Who were WM Gold?
WM Gold. Is it West Brom?
No, it was Wolves.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. This is a bit of a trick one, right? And this was PES 2. And they were only called it for one. But who were Dublin?
This is definitely a trick question.
It's yeah.
Dublin.
Yeah, they were Premiership team.
Is it Aston Villa?
It is Aston Villa.
Yeah. Because of Dion
Dublin, yeah. So PES 2, it was Dublin, and then PES 3 became West Midlands Village. All right, here's one, right? A German one. Rekordmeister.
Bayer Leverkusen?
Bayern Munich, because at the time they were the Rekordmeisters holders. They were the current winners. Yes, as we know them. And here's a weird one, right? And it will kind of mess with your geography of the UK. Lake District.
Lake District. That's an entire region.
Yeah.
It's a district, god damn it. All right, I think that's like Midlands kind of England.
Should be.
So I'm going to say Birmingham.
Oh, unfortunately, it is the famous Midland spot, West Ham.
At least make it geographically relevant in any way.
I know. So would you? So you were good. So like because obviously lads will be having the Pro Evo tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Also, were you Pro Evo or did you say PES?
Pro Evo.
Pro Evo.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We were PES. We were PES household.
You're a PES house. Fair enough. Yeah, it is easier to say PES now in hindsight. I'll never get that time back. Although half the seconds wasted saying Pro Evo.
So you would wipe the floor. Would you be like a good tournament player with the lads?
Yeah, I think so. To be fair, yeah, like, and I used to play it like quite a bit, and we would enjoy playing with the lads. And also, I got to a stage where I would play, you'd play it on the whatever, like legendary setting, and you just kind of get like.
I love that you just say that as if that's something I would ever be able to do. You just play in the legendary setting. Well,
I just mean like the top.
Yeah, no,
like
of course.
And you just, and like you kind of get used to it. And then I used to play. The ultimate challenge was because you could both use the same team. You could play two players and both be on like North London Red or whatever. And I used to try to win the World Cup with my friend Dave. And the guy who was sending me photos of my horrible shoes, in fairness. And God bless him. Like I was really good and he was really bad. So we were just cancelling each other out so perfectly. And like it took us like a matter of months to get Ireland to win the World Cup. We would try and try. eventually, I think we got there eventually. Surely we did. We had literally nothing better to do with our time.
But like, there's no like that is exactly the situations that I fantasize about. Like, just take me back, give me a big 2-liter pint of Coke or whatever, and just sit me there in my inflatable furniture. Well, me and my mate try and figure that out. I know, and I remember with the 2-player, every time you passed, it was the other player, wasn't it? So you'd kick it, and then so every pass you had to kind of delegate some level of teamwork.
Yeah. Which was chaotic, as you can imagine. And like, which, to be fair, then the opposing like computer team had no idea what our tactics were going to be, because it was like two different brains. So we kept them on their toes.
Well, that's how they beat the chess machine, isn't it? By just doing something that they never could anticipate.
That was our tactic. Yeah, just do something mental.
Konami software developers would be like, these kids are running rings around us. What are we going to do?
Like, yeah, and like, you wouldn't, but like the downside of that is then you might like run the pitch and then just like have to square it and be like, right, just finish this off, and then they would just bottle it. That's it, or whatever.
I still in fact, I make jokes about it all the time. I went to a Bows Shells match and it was 0-0, and I was saying to I made the joke being like, hey, this is like bloody me playing FIFA, because I'm awful. Like, I'm all like, everything, for whatever reason, I have the same tactics in real life as I do with PES or with FIFA, where it's all like, I have the ball, get rid of it. I have the ball, kick it away immediately. I'm scared of the ball. Or just through ball, no one there, through ball.
That you would just try though, for the sake of it. And sometimes they'd pull off something spectacular that you didn't even see. You just coincidentally hit the triangle button. And you're like, I meant that. I was more of a Pep Guardiola. I would pass and pass. And like, I remember Vin being like, you just pass it, but you don't score. Like, every time I'd play him, and he would just, the 2-meter bald lad that he created, so I'm like, would just run straight through my defense.
And here comes Laser again. See,
Laser's on electric form this season.
See, because I don't really watch a lot of football, and I don't get basic tactics. Like, I know the fundamental, like, just get the ball into the net. Like, that's all. I don't know any tactics to try and figure it out. I'd actually love someone to train me up, Maybe that's an influencer series I could do. Trained up
Training Tony, and it's just you learning different things each week. I do, but like, I've never looked into it or actually been interested in the tactical side of things in football either. And like, for a long time, and I feel like this is what stopped me really looking into it. I just like to imagine like, there's nothing really to it. They're just making it up. They want to seem more intelligent than they are, but you're kicking a ball, lads. Come on. Well, it's either hoof it or pass it. That's it.
Or if you're on my team, hold R1 and sprint like your life depended on it. Like, everyone just there. And like, all the lads run towards the ball full pelt all the time. Kick off, all the lads running to the ball.
Oh God, I would love to see that in the Premier League. Like, against like Man City. This is unprecedented. It's 11 against 1 in the final third.
Pep's like, just stop. And another Konami game that you're a big fan of, one that I'm certainly a huge fan of, Metal Gear Solid. That was a big thing for you.
Yeah, big time. And Matt, I just loved... I think I love the games themselves and the idea of sneaking around and being a bit more careful about it, rather than just a straight up shoot 'em up. And also, I always loved like the lore and the story around it. I got so into that. I could read about that for hours.
Yeah,
almost like I used to think as well, because the cutscenes were so like formidable. Like, you could put these all together, and I'd probably just like get a bowl of popcorn and watch them and quite enjoy myself. Because they really seem to put a lot of effort and thought into those, and I enjoyed those almost as much as the gameplay.
Big time. It's mad, like, seeing these big massive, like, especially when you go back and like replay it, and you have like Metal Gear, and you have like this big massive sweeping thing, and then it cuts back to you just literally staring in this little box at the DARPA chief, and like, and it's just big, so sweeping, and then or the big opening scene, and then it's like essentially just this 9 squares, like the first level, obviously you're going in and it's but it still was so groundbreaking and incredible. When you play it now, it's like, there's just like 9 squares, and they go around each square, and you just kind of, it's almost like Pac-Man, but it was so much more. Did you have like Metal Gear 1? Did you play the demo before Metal Gear 1 came out? Can you
I
recall?
can't remember. You know, that's going back so far. That's like one of my first memories of like a PlayStation game was playing the first Metal Gear. I don't think I ever had that one. I think I just played it in a friend's house. But I remember just thinking it was spectacular. And also really trippy, the stuff they made you do, like taking the game out and like deleting your save files or whatever. That was mind blowing to think about at the time.
And the urban legend was that if you had a rumble, you had a rumble controller. Like if you put it down on a table, Psycho Mantis would make it vibrate into the shape of a skull. Which, looking at the shape of this thing, it's like does not seem feasible.
I've tried every possible formulation. Doesn't look like a skull.
And there was other Konami games, I think, that they would change the logos of. I actually think for the PS2. No, maybe it wasn't. I'm pretty sure they could change the logos to squares. So like what would normally be like, you know, or the logos to skulls as well. Or maybe maybe everything was a skull, man. Maybe he's in my mind.
The whole thing is a simulation, man.
Yeah. But I remember the whole thing of taking out the thing and then plug it into the second. That's just like, wow, he's in here. It's just so creepy and awesome.
That's it. It was so creepy. It was really unsettling.
So
like,
I should give a bit of context for people who don't know what that even means at all. There was a character. So the great thing about Metal Gear was the boss villains all had something fucking incredible about them. They had some attribute, an animal, you know, and you know, some kind of adjective, and then an animal. And Psycho Mantis was just this weird, scrawny gimp with a gas mask who would like mess with your mind, and that was the whole thing, that he would predict your movements. You shoot at him, and he would predict your movements before they would happen. And then, without any warning, they wouldn't really tell you this. You had to take out your controller and plug it into the second thing, and to actually play as a 2-player, which means you can't get into your mind, which, you know, doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it certainly felt like, oh my god, he's in the room with us now. And it was always very experimental and innovative ways of beating these villains.
Yeah, it was really smart. Weird, scrawny gimp. That really, I believe that was the original draft of the character's name. Not you, weird, scrawny gimp.
Hideo Kojima was just like, we need a weird, scrawny gimp.
Wait, say that one more time. We got a character.
With Metal Gear 1, you know, on replays anyway, you know, were you able to save Meryl? That was the thing, that you would be tortured, and if you didn't hit the buttons fast enough, if you gave up in torture, Meryl would die. And if you were able to actually hit them, like literally, like violently freak your controller, then you would save Meryl.
Yeah, it was almost at a point like, is this like skillful gaming anymore? I've literally got the controller on the table and I'm just like like one index finger with everything, and my hand would be like a claw by the end of this as well. But it was another way in which they were kind of, I guess, like switching it up a bit too.
Totally. I mean, you actually kind of, there was like the real life burden of blisters to save this pixel, essentially, with her face that you really love.
See the emotion on the poor pixel.
Yeah, the face that doesn't move. It's like, oh, it's the exact same face. Did you play through all of them, the whole series?
Yeah, I played. So the first one, I played the second one. Snake Eater was probably my favorite one. I think that I played the most amount of times. Then there was the fourth one after that, where it's like Old Snake. And then Phantom Pain is the last one I played. And I actually, it's so in depth. And I was playing that before I emigrated. So I have a PlayStation, or had a PlayStation back home in my mom's house. And I thought I'd finished it, but it was such a huge game that I'd actually only reached like the halfway point. So I was walking around like for years being like, yeah, glad I completed that. And I was talking to my friend about it. He's like, oh yeah, what did you do in this scene? And this happened later. I was like, what are you talking about? I completed the game, man. He's like, no, that was just halfway done. Because they love some credits in Metal Gear as well. So like they just roll the credits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played them all, and man, just so much fun. I love Snake Eater. The different camo, the different options, the different ways you could solve stuff, and also different ways you could just mess about, like just running around, like knocking on walls. Like,
do you think now? I don't know. I mean, this is not to throw a spanner into all of Hideo Kojima's kind of method of all, you know, of his storytelling of the lore. But I kind of found what I loved about Snake Eater, I also think it's my favorite, is like the story is kind of quite simple. And yes, it does have odes to other things and it has links with other ones, but it's kind of like, this is the first Snake, you know, or early Snake. You know, he had a mentor who, spoiler, kind of does a heel turn. And then, you know, like it's a simple enough story to follow. Like, would they be better with less? You know, would they all be better, especially two, and how weird the lula lalilo, and just some of the Patriot stuff, and even the you know, Raiden kind of reveal that you're actually not playing as Snake in 2, which I was okay with, but I still would have preferred to play as Snake, you know.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people were pissed about that, especially because you start off as Snake in the first mission in the game.
Totally.
On the tanker, so you're like, oh yeah, here we go, and then it sees this blonde lad for the rest of it, and yeah, it definitely got pretty heady, like from that one onwards in particular. Actually, yeah, but Snake Eater was probably a bit of a respite in that, like you say, it was a simple story. But one clip that went viral or popped up occasionally is the bit where you're riding on a tanker and you're in the nip running around and you keep getting these calls from your commander, and like half the time his face is just like a weird skull. And they're talking about the flow of information in the future, which a lot of which kind of echoes debates that are having today. I found that really creepy and kind of like, all right, that was fairly prescient of them. Yeah. But I was 11 years old when I was playing that. Absolutely not getting any of that.
But that's the thing, like we were the perfect age for these games, like, because this was before video games were, you know, people still kind of scoffed at video games, so it still was kids and teens and a handful of adults really playing these games, and these ridiculously high concept, you know, things about, you know, the Patriots and the you know, the forming of, you know, of America, and like double agent and double crossing double agents, and then obviously being how Japanese it all was, which is an extra level of confusion. You know, it's similarly like I went to go see RoboCop in the Lighthouse, and I had like RoboCop toys, and I had the RoboCop car, and RoboCop was like, you know, are you Terminator or are you RoboCop, you know, and those kind of games we played. And then you watch it and it's just this brilliant parody of capitalism. And that's like, RoboCop is in like, you know, 18 minutes of it, and the rest of it is these boardroom kind of debates being like, you know, I don't want to fuck with you, Sal, you know, the old man's got my ass. And we're watching this being like, this is class. Like, when is RoboCop coming back? But it just totally went over my head. I mean, I loved it, and I loved talking about it, and I loved when someone smarter than me could explain a bit of the lore, and then I felt smarter, you know. But it really did kind of play as if we were smart enough to understand it.
100%. But it's good that it was still able to be enjoyed by us, though, even though that went over our heads. The same can be said of, and I think it might be the same director, but Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Totally.
Movie? Which now, viewing back, is like a fucking hilarious satire.
Brilliant.
Of like the war economy and all that. But as a kid, I just took it at face value. I was like, yes, they killed the bit where he puts like his hand on the king slowly insect, and he's like, it's afraid. And everyone's like, yeah, it's afraid.
While he's dressed as an actual Gestapo, like well, Neil Patrick Harris is actually being like, and that's the whole thing, like that America's fascist or this army is fascist. Like, that's the whole point, you know? Yeah. What a flick as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have a favorite character or a favorite boss in Metal Gear?
Oh, really good. I like Vamp in the second one. He's always so like salubrious and weirdly like sexual, but also scary. Yeah. I liked him, and I think he came back in later games.
I hear he does. Now, I haven't played the one with Old Snake. I haven't played 4 because I didn't have a PS3, and there is no way of playing it if you didn't have a PS3. There's still now no way of playing it. Yeah.
I'm shocked by
I know,
that.
Me too.
How, like, fork it out? Like, you have the technology. People will buy this.
Yeah.
I think he might pop up in that. And Snake Eater, though, the bosses in that were great. Although one guy, and it's so true what you said earlier, like, it's one boss with, like, one weird characteristic. There's definitely one that's just a man covered in hornets.
Yeah.
Who's like, is he all right? Like, because it doesn't really feel like he's actually aware of what he's doing right now. Occasionally these hornets attack me, but he seems to be in a lot of pain.
Was he the sniper as well? Was he, or was that a different guy? Maybe I think that's a different.
Oh no, there's the end.
Yeah,
he was really good. Do you remember the end? He was the old man.
Yeah,
who would
no animal, just old as shit. There's like B-man, you know. There's Sniper Wolf, and then there's old as shit man.
He was powered by photosynthesis. Yeah, so he was plant man basically.
That was
occasionally
great.
He would just And you could do it like a cheat where you could see him earlier in the game. Like another boss would wheel him out of this base. And if you were quick enough, you could shoot him and kill him.
What?
And then you wouldn't have to face him later on in the game.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to face a team of mercenaries instead of him.
Yeah.
And he was really difficult because like he would just sneak up on you.
Yeah, you would see everywhere.
He was, So the vibes of the butler from Lara Croft.
Oh yeah, get in the fucking pantry, you clown.
That is 90% of what I did in that game. Get in that.
I remember because it was very reminiscent of the Sniper Wolf fight that you have. I mean, so much harder. But I remember, the Sniper Wolf, and then you kill Sniper Wolf. And then, like, Otacon starts crying, and he's like, oh, and I was like, as if you had a chance with her, the state of you. And he's like, oh, she's done. And she's like, mate, she was leading you on. Like, no, I'm not having a go. She's a piece. You know what I mean? And you are, you pee yourself. And now, to be fair, a robo ninja does show up and you do pee yourself, but still, quite embarrassing.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
He has the occasional sob. He's quite an emotional character.
Yeah, he is.
That is true.
Yeah.
No chance.
Man. No, I need to get on Phantom Pain, and I need to, because I've seen that constantly pops up on like IGN. Here's another 101 things you didn't realize you could do in the game. Like, just so dense with stuff, I know,
like really, like you can, that one in particular, because you're building this like mercenary army as well, and the base. So even if you don't even want to do any of the fighting, it's almost like kind of was it like Roller Coaster Tycoon where you could just build up this army
mercenary
base.
sim.
Yeah, exactly, where you could just have fun that way. Well, I and like fair play, but I would never, like, I just that stresses me out trying to like complete all the little side quests like that.
It's always too much. Is there anything you're playing at the moment? Do you get to play anything at the moment?
Not really. Like my flatmate has a PlayStation, but he plays a lot more than I do. I think ever since I moved to England, I kind of weaned myself off. But I do love Crash Bandicoot. I always have, and I always have. There's one I downloaded it on because I still have an account, and thankfully now, if you bought it online, you can just download it wherever. And I still play that. I think it's the latest one, Crash 4. Just in time, back in time, something in time. So I love that as just kind of like a quick one where I can just hop on and play a few levels. But what
do you do? Could I ask? Because like, I mean, well, I don't know if this is a similar situation, but because my comedy has my name on it, I find it difficult to just separate me into other parts of me, where it can, like I actually do need something, and usually like a media to properly unwind and just not think about me, me for a while. Well, what's that for you?
And like for stuff outside of comedy and like stuff to watch. Oh yeah, and I'm totally the same. I find myself watching a lot less stand-up comedy these days as well, because I'm just thinking about like what I would do. I can't enjoy it. But outside of that, I love kind of shows that actually don't have that much at stake. I'm always annoyed at plots. They keep throwing up problems. Why can't I have a TV show where nothing goes wrong and people are just fine with everything? Lately, I've been watching. This week, I've been rewatching. And to be fair, it is a little bit comedy. But it's The Trip. Oh yeah, with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. I'd say I'll probably rewatch that like once a year, and I just because it's a little bit funny, like, but half the time it's kind of serious. There's like very low stakes, if any. They're just going around lovely restaurants in beautiful locations, occasionally doing some fun impressions and just taking the piss out of each other.
It's tip top.
So I watch a lot of that.
Did you see? Are you going to go see Alan Partridge? Have you seen the live show?
No, I wish I was. I really should have gotten on that. I'm so jealous of everybody who's been. Have you gone?
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh man, and I was rewatching this time with Alan Partridge there this week as well, because I saw everybody was going. But I love his sense of humor and his comedy. Stuff that's like really tightly scripted and just like joke after joke after joke. If there is one near you, or if he's doing anything, and even if there's like nosebleed seats or whatever like that, I would, if it's possible, I would recommend, because even just, especially for you talking about your show, seeing him just kind of really not break the character for 2 hours, and to play with stuff like, there's cameras on him and he's known how exactly to give the right face so that people are seeing that and that kind of emotion. There's choreography where he's trying to follow like the spotlight and getting it wrong and stuff. It's like just
pure vaudeville act, like just not to rub it in, but it's good.
Yeah, we'll never see the likes of it again. But if you get
a chance, you know what I mean.
That sounds class.
Well, Sean, thanks very much. I've kept a lot of your time, and I really do appreciate you chatting with me.
Thanks so much for having me, man. I love the pod. It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you obviously have your live gig? Is there which is May 19th?
May 19th.
In the Museum of Comedy.
Right.
Is there anything else you'd like to plug? Anything else coming up?
At the moment, not really.
And how are you dealing with that?
I'm going inward. I'll say. No, I'd say just just follow me on social media. I guess I do have a couple of sketch ideas in the works. One that I'm really excited for.
Great.
That I've but I can't say much. I can't say much now. Unless you'll have to wait and see. But yeah, just you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Sean Burke Show. Yeah,
perfect.
That's about it.
Actually, do you know, there's one question I wanted to ask you as well. One last question.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're an adult man, you're a grown man who has now found success making sketches, and no doubt get a lot of notoriety from it. How do you think you would have handled to having 115,000 Twitter followers if you were 19 and this had happened? Do you think?
Oh my god!
Do you think it would last? Do you think you would have burnt out? Do you think? I don't know what. How do you think you would have handled it then? When you were in the hardware shop?
That's such a good question. I don't think I was equipped to handle that amount of people following me on the social media, and I think I would have ballsed it up big time. I think I'd probably be because I've been making YouTube. I started on YouTube 10 years ago, and I was more of a kind of YouTuber at that stage / impressionist, and I could have very easily gone down that YouTube route. Well, I don't think I would have enjoyed it in the long run. I think I see myself. I'd rather people know what I make than who I am, if you know what I mean. And I think if you ever look back at an old tweet, by the way, or an old Facebook status that you did 8 years ago, I cannot imagine posting that to 100,000 people. Oh my God. I always think this has come at the right time for me, where I'm so much, I think about what I say so much more than I used to, on the internet. Not that I was even that extroverted in the past, but I'm just much more, I don't know what's the word, just kind of introverted, I guess, these days. But I think it's for the best. I don't think I would have handled it well. I don't think I would have maximized it.
Well, look, if you maybe you wouldn't need this kind of timeline, but I got this thing that deletes all of my tweets after a year.
Really?
I don't know, just in case, just in case just words change that quick, or something. But you've got your entire backlog there, so I wouldn't recommend it for you.
That's every video gone.
Yeah.